Welcome to the Big Time Sports Show.
Big Time Sports Show.
The Big Time Sports Show, a look at sports in and around the Tuscarawas Valley.
Big Time Sports Show. Sports Show.
The Big Time Sports Show is brought to you exclusively by Ferris Chevrolet Buick Cadillac Toyota. For a great deal on a new or used car, truck, van, or SUV, see a Ferris wheel. Ferris on the Wabash in New Philadelphia.
Think Ferris.
Now, here are your Big Time Sports Guys.
Big Time Sports Guys.
Taking care of sports business is the mellow tones of Charlie Jones and the voice of the Akron Zips, Joe Dunn.
Hello again, everyone. Welcome to the weekly edition of Big Time Sports. My name is Joe Dunn, Charlie Jones alongside as always. And here's your invitation to stay with us for the next half hour as we update you on high school football all over the area. In fact, we're just 2 weeks away from the beginning of the 2014 high school football season all over the state of Ohio. A couple games scheduled for Thursday, the 28th. A lot of teams begin on the 29th and more on the 30th. Charlie, we are here ready to go for another season.
We are, Joe, and I'll tell you what, we are real busy trying to push everything through that Big Time Sports funnel. Now, just to set the stage a little bit, I know how much you love high school volleyball. So you know what we're going to do? We're going to do the Joe Dunn volleyball opener. Okay?
Is that right?
We are going to do a big one. Next Monday night, August the 18th, we have got the Carrollton Warriors.
Oh, boy.
You know those Warriors from Carrollton?
Oh, yeah.
Against the new Philadelphia Quakers. So it's Carrollton and New Philly next Monday night and Tuesday night in high school volleyball.
Any tickets left for that or not?
Well, you know what? I think if you mention my name, you might get in, but it's going to be up in the upper level, Joe.
I got you. Reminder that high school football, of course, here on Big Time Sports. On the first night of the season, we will be up at Green for that game between Lake and Green. Green, the newest member of the Federal League, they'll be in a year from now, but still, that is a big rivalry up in the southern part of Summit County. And also, Charlie, you'll be down at New Philly for that Central Catholic New Philly Quakers game.
That should be a good opener for both, Canton Central Catholic and New Philadelphia. So a big night of high school football on Big Time Sports. It don't get any bigger than Lake and Green and New Philadelphia and the Canton Central Catholic Crusaders.
Yeah, all four of those teams should be very good this year. Also, a reminder on the radio side on Fox Sports 1350, remember our high school football scoreboard show every Friday night from about 10 o'clock to midnight. We'll have the scores, the highlights, talking to coaches and players and the fans. That's every Friday beginning August 29th on Fox Sports Radio 1350. We continue tonight with our preview of all our high school teams tonight. It is Canton Timken Trojan time with head coach Kevin Henderson. They have a pretty good schedule. I tell you, I was checking that out last night. They have a ton of home games. Really works out well for them this year.
Well, it does. Quick glance will tell you that Coach Kevin Henderson's got to be smiling, okay? Either that or he's the one that actually scheduled the games. I don't know if the AD did this for him, but it looks like something Kevin would like to construct. But it's a good home schedule for the Trojans.
Exactly. They open up on August 30th, a home against East Canton. Other home games are with Akron North and Dalton to open up the season. We're going to take our first break, come back, and be joined by the veteran coach at Canton Timken, Kevin Henderson, right after this on Big Time Sports.
The Big Time Sports Show with Charlie and Joe will be back right after this word from Ferris Chevrolet Buick Cadillac Toyota.
Ferris Toyota is driving down the prices during our summer drive sale. Hi, this is Pat Ferris. Lease a new Toyota Corolla for just $139 a month. Camrys for $159, RAV4s for $169, and Priuses for $199. And every lease includes 24 months of no-cost maintenance. Toyota even has 0% financing on 12 different models to make it even better. Ferris Toyota on the Wabash in New Philadelphia.
Our commitment has always been to you. You inspire our compassion that leads to better care. You're the reason we invest in technologies and facilities that provide better results and greater comfort. You motivate us to be the best we can be every day, and we'll continue doing it. Altman Hospital, leading our community to improved health.
Do you know why we must see you today?
No, ladies, but when you call, old Mellow Tones comes running. What's happening?
You may be aware that we're very cute.
Oh, I'm aware.
Until recently, we were the sweethearts of the neighborhood.
Everyone just loves your little faces.
Everyone did love our little faces. Then they found Big Time Sports. If we set up a lemonade stand from about 3 to 6, our regulars will be listening to Big Time Sports radio show. And if the TV show is on, they'll get it. We're watching your interviews, listening to stats and recaps. You have prizes, we don't have prizes. We can't move this product under these conditions.
Girls, what can old mellow tones do?
Make us stop.
You know, I could use some fresh-faced, big-time sports spokespeople. How about you girls? Are you up for the challenge?
Have real people call our people. We'll talk.
Welcome back to Big Time Sports. As promised, we continue our previews of our local high school football teams. Tonight is Canton Timken Trojan time as you welcome in the veteran head coach, Kevin Henderson. Coach, you've been doing this a long time. Do you still get excited this time of year? You get the butterflies, still anxious to get things rolling again?
Yeah, this is always a fun time of the year. As you said, I don't know if you get butterflies. I'm just excited to just see how the kids are progressing and everything. And then at this time, just the excitement of the first scrimmage coming up is, you're starting to get the juices flowing a little bit.
Of course, we talked about your schedule. I tell you, you got a ton of home games at Fawcett Stadium. That's always a plus anytime you can play at home.
We love to play at Fawcett, and honestly, our opponents love to play at Fawcett as well. But I think it gives us some advantage. But you still have to play the game.
Coach, what about last year compared to this year? How many people did you lose off of last year's squad, and how are you going to fill those vacancies with this year's?
Well, we lost a few very good football players. We've got, of course, Nick Johnson, a quarterback and DBs at Bowling Green, and Chris Carter's at Malone, and Tavie Hills at Baldwin Wallace. Certainly those three, and then with Randy Reed and Charles Lennox as well. But, Nick Johnson accounted for about 2,400 yards of offense, and we'll have to do that to replace his production by committee.
Is your philosophy, Coach, when you lose somebody, like we just talked about, do you change the offense to match the talent you have on the field, or are you going to stick with your same philosophy, and try to make those players?
I think the philosophy will remain the same. I don't know that we'll have as much production as we were able to get. Nick was a special athlete, and they don't come down the pipe too often. But as I said, we'll do it by committee.
Coach, looking at the record, last year you were leading, and I think about 6 or 7 games. Couldn't hold that lead. That had to be frustrating, but in the same sense, it gives you some impetus for this year because you can stay with these people.
Well, I mean, that's one thing I tell the kids. We've developed that reputation as we're competitive. Yeah. And sometimes we come up a little bit short, but I always tell them as long as there's time on the clock, we're trying to win a football game. And, one thing that we have to do is play mistake-free football, and sometimes that just doesn't happen for us.
Taking a look at the PAC, as you well know, it is a very, very good football conference. Had a lot of teams get into the Week 11 last year. On paper, who's the team to beat this year, you think? Or are they all tough?
Well, and that's I'm glad you said that because I think they're all good. Yeah. CVCA, Indian Valley, Triway, Manchester. Pick one and they'll be Fairless, and pick one and they'll be. You got to play your best game to be competitive with them.
Yeah, it's a meat grinder, no doubt about that. As you take a look at Timken, at least on paper, what do you think your strengths are this year?
Well, I'll just say that we've got some pretty good athletes. We just have to find out how they will play under fire. We've yet to find that out. We'll scrimmage this Friday night. And if we can get some kids that can man up a little bit under fire, then I think we'll be okay.
Sure.
Coach, I see by looking at your schedule, you go on the road to a very tough CVCA to open up the Pac-7. Okay, how do you win at CVCA? Okay, with this new look team you have.
Well, it's always difficult. They're a very well coached team, and they've always got highly disciplined football players, and they play well at home as well. But we played them well last year. That gives us some incentive to go up there and get after them a little bit.
Looking at your schedule here, you also then the next week next week they're going to give you another present. Wow, look at this, Joe. First they got to open up at CVCA, then they got to go down to Indian Valley. That's got to be tough. Then, Joe, they get to go north to take on Coach France and his Manchester Panthers. Now that, Joe, is a tough schedule, right, Coach?
Well, I tell you what, CVCA is going to be a difficult game for us. Indian Valley, they've got Jake Davis is one of the premier backs in the area and in the state. And Coach France doesn't rebuild, he just reloads.
He does.
You know, Manchester and Jim France have been synonymous for years and years and years. Now, I'm not sure, your tenure over there, you may be, what, the second longest coach in the pack or not? That's what they look like.
I don't know. I don't know how long or, you know, what that record is, but I just like to get a few more wins in W's in the win column. So.
I'll tell you what, you brought 3 of your young men with you today. Who did you bring?
We brought Razul Young as a linebacker and a fullback for us. We brought Brad Houck as an offensive tight end for us and a defensive end for us, and we brought Isaiah Bingham as an offensive lineman, guard, and defensive tackle for us.
And I'm guessing these 3 guys are going to be key for the season.
Well, as I said, we'll find out Friday night, but I have big expectations from all 3 of them.
There you go. We're talking Timken football. We're going to take our first break, come back, and talk to these 3 young men that will be wearing the colors of Timken High School this year. Don't go away. We're right back.
The Big Time Sports Show with Charlie and Joe will be back right after this word from Ferris Chevrolet Buick Cadillac Toyota.
Ferris Toyota is driving down the prices during our summer drive sale. Hi, this is Pat Ferris. Lease a new Toyota Corolla for just $139 a month. Camrys for $159, RAV4s for $169, and Priuses for $199. And every lease includes 24 months of no-cost maintenance. Toyota even has 0% financing on 12 different models to make it even better. Ferris Toyota on the Wabash in New Philadelphia.
Let Designer Stone bring the beauty of natural stone into your home. Now granite from Designer Stone is affordable for your home. Granite is ideal for kitchen countertops, bathrooms, and floors, and is elegant and unique in color and patterns. Make granite from Designer Stone the choice to beautify your home. Call Designer Stone today at 1-866-860-4747.
There for you. Care for you at the health plan. We are here for you. There for you. Care for you at the health plan. We are here for you.
Well, the Canton Timken Trojans open up pack play against CVCA September 19th, but before that, they've got 3 non-conference games with East Canton, Akron North, and Dalton, all at home, all at Fawcett Stadium. Charlie, we're going to meet 3 young men who are going to be ready to roll on August 30th.
We most certainly are, Joe, and let me take this opportunity to start this off with a guy by the name of Isaiah Bingham, and Isaiah is the right guard on the O-line and plays defensive tackle. And Isaiah, welcome to the Big Time Sports Show, my friend.
Thank you for having us.
Isaiah, how are things at Timken High School, particularly on the football field?
Well, we got, usually at Timken we don't have a lot of numbers, so we usually got guys starting both sides. So conditioning is a big thing for our team to stay healthy and go all 4 quarters.
You heard Joe and Coach Henderson talk in that last segment about you were that far last year from winning 4 or 5 or 6 more games, but in the late stages of the game, something happened, okay, that you couldn't quite pull it out. Do you think being short of numbers, okay, is a factor in that equation?
Yes, I think that's a huge factor actually, because usually most guys get tired after starting both sides and every play, including special teams. So I think if you have more numbers, then nobody would be as tired and then go out and play every play as hard as they can.
What did Isaiah Bingham do during the off season to make sure that you're not bent over and grabbing your pants and your knees in the late stages of that football game? How did you condition yourself knowing, okay, that you were small in numbers?
Well, actually, as soon as our banquet was over for last football season, Coach had us in the weight room during the off season, and after school we go there for about an hour, hour and a half, and just lift and condition. So really, the whole off season, just after school, straight to the locker room, and weight room, and just hitting the iron.
Okay. Do you look for a good season this year? You're a junior this year, okay?
Yes, sir.
This is what, your second or third year of varsity football, okay? Do you look for a good season out of the Timken Trojans?
Yes, sir. Every year I expect a good year out of the Trojans, but especially this year, we got a lot of guys really dedicated and starting to come every day.
Okay. All right. Well, listen, best of luck this season, and we'll catch you down the road, okay?
Thank you.
Joe, Isaiah Bingham, Joe, you've got a young man now that you want to talk to for a couple minutes.
Brad Houck is the guy, defensive end, tight end, and looking forward to an outstanding season. Going both ways, we talked about conditioning. You're a guy that probably won't leave the field too much. Is that something you look forward to, or do you look over to Coach Henderson once in a while and says, just get me out of here for a play so I can catch my breath?
Well, I always look forward to being on the field as much as I can, just to put in as much, just put as big of an effort in to help the team as much as I can.
How much you love playing football? This is something that not everybody can do. You only have high school. You go through high school one time, and you know how special it is to be able to play high school football. And how much do you enjoy it?
Oh, I love it. Like, there's nothing else I'd rather do.
What about your conditioning for the summer too? I know you don't want to come into that first day of practice in the summer not having got yourself in shape. What are some of the things you did during the year?
Well, I wrestled during the season, and like Isaiah said, after school it was like the weight room and conditioning.
Of course, it's important as a defensive end and tight end to have pretty good hands. Number one, as a tight end, you got to catch the football. Number two, as a defensive end, you got to try and get your hands on those offensive linemen and get them out of the way. Yeah. Is that something you can build up your hands? Is that something you think about a lot or not?
Yeah, blocking is a big part of playing tight end and playing defensive end. It's just violent hands.
What about game day for you? I like to talk to a lot of the high school players that come in about maybe some of the superstitions they have on game day. Some special music you listen to get yourself fired up, maybe a special pregame meal. What's game day like for you?
Well, game day is just put the headphones in and listen to my playlists.
Now, I know you don't listen to the same type of music as my co-host, Charlie Jones.
Yeah, that's a given.
What type of music gets you fired up? Any special groups out there you like to listen to?
Not really. It's just there's songs that I just like that just get me really hyped before games.
A little hard rock in there to get you fired up or not?
A little bit.
You don't look like a country western guy. It's usually a little hard rock, right?
A little bit.
I'll tell you what, looking forward to that first game with East Canton. It's always special, that first game of the year. If you get that W on the board, that really can make yourself for a good year. How important is that first game going to be for you guys?
That first game is important because it shows team in the Pac-7 that we're there to play. To get that first W in the win column, it just shows teams that Timken's coming hard this year.
There you go. I'll tell you what, Brad, best of luck. You're only a junior. You still got one more year after this, but I know you'd love to get that junior year off to a great start. Best of luck to you.
Thank you.
All right, Joe, let's now talk to, last but certainly not least, Razul. Let's talk to our old friend Razul Young. And Joe, Razul is a running back and a linebacker for the Timken Trojans. First question, my young friend, out of the box. If Coach Henderson said to you, I'm going to play you one way and one way only the next game, you want to play that linebacker spot and hit somebody and knock them on their you-know-what? Or would you rather be carrying that football downfield?
Well, I love football, but I use it as something to release because I go through a lot. So I would have to honestly say defense, so I can give it to the guy who's lined up next to me and show him that I'm here to play.
You know, you're not going to believe this, but I knew that was going to be your answer, and I just met you because you look and you have that aura of a guy that, you know, likes to get his nose dirty and hit somebody and knock them on their can. Okay? Now, let's go back to the off season. Okay? Did you spending your time at the Dairy Queen with hot fudge sundaes, or were you working out and getting ready for this football season?
Well, I'm a three-sport guy, so there was basketball and track in there, so I was busy the whole off season. But whenever I could, I'd make sure that I was in the weight room hitting the iron. So.
Which sport, seriously, which sport takes up the most of your time? Which spot takes more time to practice and keep your skills honed?
It's football, because I spend most of my time prepping for football.
Okay. All right. Now, would you rather, okay, if you're on the 3-yard line and you need a touchdown, what are you telling your quarterback in the huddle?
Give me the ball.
All right. And what is your fate, without giving anybody a scouting report here in the preseason, what do you want to hear called?
ISO.
ISO,
Ooh,
okay.
yeah.
Wow, that means you and nobody else, right?
Yeah.
All right, buddy. Joe, Rasul Young, quite a ball player.
I'll tell you what, I'm impressed with all three of these young guys. Very well spoken, good young men for Canton Timken. I know they're looking forward to an outstanding season. We're going to take a break. When we come back, Coach Henderson will join us again, talk a little bit more about his program at Timken. So don't go away. We're talking Canton Timken football right here on Big Time Sports.
The Big Time Sports Show with Charlie and Joe will be back right after this word from Ferris Chevrolet Buick Cadillac Toyota.
Ferris Toyota is driving down the prices during our summer drive sale. Hi, this is Pat Ferris. Lease a new Toyota Corolla for just $139 a month. Camrys for $159, RAV4s for $169, and Priuses for $199. And every lease includes 24 months of no-cost maintenance. Toyota even has 0% financing on 12 different models to make it even better. Ferris Toyota on the Wabash in New Philadelphia.
Think Ferris. You gotta go to Bob and Pete's.
Welcome to Bob and Pete's Floors showroom. This is where you'll find an extensive selection of styles and colors with the most up-to-date designs and fashions at the price that's right for you. Whether it's carpet, hardwood, tiles, a laminate floor cover, or countertops, you'll find what you need at Bob and Pete's Floors. Bob and Pete's Floors. Make your feet happy feet.
You gotta go to Bob and Pete's for happy feet.
Welcome to All-Type Heating and Cooling, your one-stop shop for all types of home repairs. That's right, All-Type Heating and Cooling not only provides complete sales and service for your furnace and air conditioning, they also do plumbing. Family owned for over 30 years and with more than 100 years combined experience, you can trust us to keep you comfortable year-round. All-Type is your authorized Lennox dealer and can service or repair any make or model. All-Type Heating and Cooling, we treat you like family.
Hope you enjoyed meeting those three young men that play football for Canton Timken High School as they get set to open up the season on August 30th, as we're rejoined now by Kevin Henderson, head football coach for the Timken Trojans. And Coach, I talked to a lot of high school coaches all over northeastern Ohio, and I know you're no different than they are. You're a head football coach, but you're also a guy that wants to mold these young men. And I know that's important to watch them progress and move on.
Well, I'm glad that you said that, because one of the things that we try to just pound into these kids is we talk about the four-part plan, and if they can master the four-part plan, it'll help them at home, in the community, at school, and certainly on the football field. And that's simply character, accountability, discipline, and hard work.
I'll tell you, when the three of us grew up, it wasn't as difficult as this for these young guys with the social media and all the pressures all over the community. It's tough right now being a high school kid.
We talk to them about that regularly, the social media, as well as some of the things that they can get into off the football field. It's a different day and age, as you said, and it's tough being a young fella right now, and I'm just glad that they still have football as an outlet that can take up at least 3 or 4 hours of their day and keep them out of trouble.
Coach, I saw I've been noticing on the young men's, on the back of their shirt, they have the character, the accountability, the discipline, and the hard work, okay? Which one of those four assets do you think, okay, is number one when it comes to your football team?
Well, I mean, I think you have to have character. That's first in any area. as I said, at home, in school, in the classroom, and certainly socially. Any time, I think if you're not sound in character, you're going to make life a little bit more difficult for yourself.
Have you had any problem, and I'm baiting you on this, I already know the answer to this, have you had any problem with the hard work out of your kids?
I mean, they're kids. You know, that's my job as well as my staff to motivate them. Sometimes you got to poke them a little bit, but in the end, again, they've got the character that says, okay, I better get going here a little bit, and they get after it. And then we preach family.
Okay.
You know, you talked about playing at Fawcett Stadium, which is a treat not only for your players, but the visiting players. Talk about going over that facility on a Saturday or a Friday. How important is it to get those guys motivated?
Well, I think for me, it starts with me. I'm always proud to just be able to play in a facility like Fawcett as for the team. And I played at Fawcett myself a few years ago, so I'm always proud to play in that stadium and just appreciate the opportunity. It's a beautiful facility.
You know, Coach, we talk to the players a lot about what they do on game day, kind of the superstitions or the going through a game day. As a coach, you wake up on a Friday or a Saturday. Do you have a routine you like to go through to get ready yourself to coach football?
Well, I teach as well. So I try to separate the two. So during the day, I'm a teacher, and I handle all the things that teachers do. But when it's time to go over to the football facility to start preparing for a game, then it's, you know, you start getting into game mode, and, you know, as far as looking over game plans and these type things, and just making sure all the details are in place.
You brought up a great point. I've talked to some of the coaches up in the Akron area. Being in the school, being right there, what the players can see you can interact with them during the day, that's got to be important.
And, you know, it's, for me, I just love the opportunity to be able to do that. You know, sometimes a kid may be having a problem and you're there.
Sure.
Or even, I mean, I've often taken regular kids, a student body. You can see if they're having a problem and you can guide them to a counselor or something like that. So it's important to be in the school.
You know, a lot of people that haven't been to downtown Canton, it's like a little small college campus down there. I mean, they go from building to building. It's a nice area down there, and that's got to be fun.
It's a beautiful facility, and the programs that we offer are, I would say, second to none.
I agree.
It's a great place.
Coach, I got to ask you this question because I've always been a fan of yours, and the biggest reason I've always been a fan of yours is because every time we bring your kids into the studio, they are always very well-mannered and very respectful of guys Joe's age. Okay, now having said that, Coach, you loved that, didn't you, Joe? Having said that, Coach, who is Kevin Henderson's biggest fan?
My biggest fan?
Yes, who is your biggest fan? Because, you know, sometimes coaches don't get a whole lot of admiration. Now, who is Kevin Henderson's biggest fan? Is it mom? Is it dad? Is it wife? Is it sister? Who is there when things are really tough? Who is there to prop you up?
Well, I'd have to say my wife right now. We're going through a difficult time with my in-laws right now, and we're just, I think we're just there for each other. And she's a former coach as well, so she knows the business, so she knows the ins and outs of what we do. And she's been in the trenches, so she helps quite a bit.
You know, we talk about the players, them making this almost a 12-month-a-year job. It's for a high school football coach, it's 12 months, isn't it?
Sure it is, sure it is. And you know, certainly all the sports now are saying that their sport is a year-round sport. So it makes it a little bit more difficult for us, so we have to do everything that we can to give our kids a competitive advantage. Certainly, you know, as you said, the Pac-7 it's a very, very tough conference.
Well, Coach, as always, we appreciate you coming over. Always fun to talk football with you before the season. I know it's going to be a grind, as it always is when you get started this time of the year. Best of luck, and that'll be a big one on August 30th. Best of luck to you.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
I'll tell you what, next week, St. Thomas Aquinas will be our featured team. Charlie Jones, you're scheduled to be here too. Look forward to seeing you next week. Thanks for watching Big Time Sports. We are back next week with another great team here in Stark County. Have a great week.
This has been the Big Time Sports Show.
Big Time Sports Show.
With your Big Time Sports guys, the mellow tones of Charlie Jones and the voice of the Akron Zips, Joe Dunn. The Big Time Sports Show has been brought to you exclusively by Ferris Chevrolet Buick Cadillac Toyota on Wabash Avenue in New Philadelphia.
Think Ferris.
Tune in every week and see the guys take care of sports biz.
Big Time Sports Show.